Guess who is our compadre? Skip Bayless. He's come out of the clouds of the ether. Selective racism in the WNBA sucks. The league would not be okay with a white player saying effing black girl. He ain't wrong. The WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism in our league. Brittany Griner and all these other clowns are jealous as hell that the little white girl's kicking their ass. Man, oh man, it's not just us. See, OutKick, Clay Travis, Hot Mike, Dakich, Ricky, we lead the way and others follow. What we do is, you know how that high school basketball or football team comes out and breaks through the hoop of paper and then others follow? That's what we do here at OutKick. We break through the stupid, the cancel, the moronic, and then other media are safe to follow. What have we been saying forever? Selective racism in the WNBA sucks. It does. It sucks, and it's about time. It's about time we're not the only ones saying it. Guess who is our compadre, our compatriot, our wingman, if you will, our Robin to our Batman, none other than Skip Bayless. He's come out of the clouds of the ether to make his stance on Brittany Griner's trash effing white girl statement towards Caitlin Clark. He stated in part, obviously, the league would not be okay with a white player saying effing black girl on the bench in anger. That would be an immediate suspension. If not, Skip Bayless says, a career-ending statement for the white girl. Can you imagine? Well, seriously, can you imagine? Now, remember, before we move on to the audio and everything else, remember, the WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism in our league. Oh, what? It went from she didn't say that to, well, it's not racist to who cares. All without an investigation. And all of us here in Indy were saying, wait, we get painted as racist by this psychopath, Angel Reese, damn near every time her and her psychotic teammates come to town. And then we got to hear, oh, we want a safe place. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Brittany Griner, effing white girl, is racist as hell. Why's it got to be about white? How many times have you heard that the other way? Why's it got to be about black people? Why's it got to be about white girl? If you have no racist bones in your body, it's just that effing girl. I got no problem you say that effing girl. But me personally, I'm tired of all that white boy or that white girl. I'm tired of it. And the WNBA says there's no place for racism. Well, there it is right there. But yet, no investigation. Here's Skip Bayless dropping some F-bombs, baby.
But it is completely possible that white girl was about Caitlin Clark's popularity, about her stature, about her impact on the entire league. It's very possible that Brittany Griner was blaming Caitlin Clark in the big picture for her fouling out, blaming referees in general for overprotecting the Fever because the league wants the Fever to win and the white girl to be MVP because the white girl sells tickets and detonates ratings. That resentment would be an extremely plausible reason for Brittany Griner in the heat of the sixth foul moment to sit down on the bench and go white girl.
Let me tell you what it's about. It's about when white people play basketball well. It has always been okay to go effing white boy or effing white girl. It has always been okay. White guys in locker rooms laugh about it. They don't care. I never cared. I can't tell you growing up in Gary, Indiana, how many times after whooping every African-American within 20 miles his ass on a nightly basis, either in the summer or on the court, and on Broadway or Broad Street or at Gary Westside High School or Roosevelt or Maryville High School. I can't tell you how many times I heard that white boy, in a positive after it can really play, or that white boy sucks and I'm going to kick his ass. I mean, it's accepted, but now it's not, particularly when you stand so strong. Doesn't have anything to do with her marketability. It has to do with their jealousy and their hate of her being able to play. And they don't respect it. Who's they? Why's it got to be they? You know what I'm talking about. No, that's what it's about. And it's always been accepted, and it would still be accepted. You wouldn't hear me say nothing about it if they didn't bring up all these bullshit white people allegations of racism against white people that turned out to be false. Whether it was lacrosse at Duke, whether it was BYU. I mean, we've seen it a million times. If we're going to stomp out racism, then let's stomp out racism. That's what it's about. And Brittany Griner and all these other clowns are jealous as hell that the little white girl is kicking their ass. Here's skip number 2.
But regardless of why Brittany Griner said what she said or at whom she said it, I want to know, is the WNBA okay with one of its players saying white girl on the bench and getting caught by TV cameras saying such? I guess they are. I guess they're okay with it. Obviously, the league would very much not be okay with a white player saying black girl on the bench in anger and getting caught by TV cameras. That would be an immediate suspension, if not a career ender for said white girl.
He ain't wrong. No, he is not wrong. Look, reaction comes in all forms. Our friend, Senator Banks, yesterday, rightfully, wants an apology from Angel Reese, from the Fever, from the WNBA, from the Chicago Sky for referring to us Hoosiers. Well, we had an investigation and you're not racist. Really? No shit, huh? No, and then when you do that, you make an allegation and nobody is accountable. Nobody has to apologize. Here's our friend, Senator Jim Banks from the great state of Indiana.
She accused the Indiana Fever fan base of being racist. They investigated it. They said those accusations were false. The least that she could do is apologize to our great state and the fans that show up at these games and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Obviously, she's not going to do that. But also, Dan, why isn't the Indiana Fever apologizing to their own fan base for putting them through that, for going through those types of accusations? I mean, those are awful accusations. They weren't true. The fans weren't shouting racial slurs toward Angel Reese or opposing players. I mean, where is Caitlin Clark? Where is the Indiana Fever? Where is the WNBA saying that investigation there shouldn't have been an investigation? The allegations were false. Where's the apology? It hasn't happened. It's disappointing. As someone who is, my daughters are fans of the team. They've gone to games to see Caitlin Clark. It's so demeaning to our state and to the fan base to go through something like that. The least they can do is apologize to the fans.
And as a senator, he's absolutely right, because it is not the first time. Every time Caitlin Clark and her band of clowns come to Indianapolis, they get their ass beat. Or Angel Reese and her band of clowns come to Indianapolis, they get their ass beat, and they leave, and they say it's dangerous. People are bullying, and whatever else. And then that kind of allegation sticks. Why? I'll tell you why. Because nobody will stand up to it. Now, I'll go the other way, because I like to go the other way. If they did not disclose allegations, if there were things going on, but they did not disclose, or whatever they did, they found something and didn't say it. If Indiana Fever fans are being racist, say it. If they're not, we're owed an apology. It's that simple. I got people say, well, a senator should be worried about all these other things. No, he should. He should be worried about his state. This is bigger than just some psychopath, Angel Reese, just saying stuff. This kind of thing sticks with the state, sticks with the fan base, sticks with the community, and it's bullshit. And until the Fever, Caitlin Clark included, decide they're going to stand up, have some nuts, and knock this thing right in the ass, it's going to continue. Bobby Barack says this, and I'll get into this in a second. Let's be honest. The WNBA has no zero tolerance for alleged racism against black women. but a whole lot of tolerance for actual racism against white women. Or, as Brittany Griner would say, effing white women. Look, you could insert any WNBA African-American lesbian woman, and they would say the same thing. They would say the exact same thing. Effing white woman. It's what we do. It's what we hear. It's what we get now in sports. We get it. We constantly get it. We don't stop getting it. It's just the way we rock and roll. And frankly, it kind of sucks. All right. I think this. Simple. Demand an apology. Demand, or at least come out if you're the Fever and say, you know what? It's what the hell we're doing. We found nothing. We're tired of the bullshit, and it's going to stop. Any further allegations will be met by a class action suit or something. That's what a lawyer told me. I don't know if you can do that. Hey, you enjoying the show? I bet you are. Go to OutKick. Do it. Do it. Go to OutKick.com. Go to OutKick on YouTube. I don't even know if we're still on. I think we are. Go to OutKick on YouTube. Let me read this right. Enjoying the show? Of course you are. Make sure you head on over to YouTube.com. Make sure you head on over to YouTube.com/@OutKick/videos to like, comment, and subscribe. And when you do that, great things will happen. Great things. Wonderful, wonderful things will happen. Don't at me, people. Wonderful stuff will be going on. Let's continue, shall we? I'm loving this show. Listen to this. It took hours, mere hours post-elimination. New York's nuts from the playoffs for everyone in the sports media to get their hot takes. We had hot takes from Sal and the other clowns in NYC. A lot of them were on Karl Anthony Towns. It's open season on Karl Anthony Towns. It was clear, even though Karl Anthony Towns won a game or two for the Knicks against the Pacers, it was clear that Thibodeau et al., the newly fired Thibodeau et al., were not happy with Cat, who seems like a nice guy. He was labeled by the idiots in New York City radio as a losing player, a bitch, and anonymous sources painted a picture of locker room dysfunction in New York. Meanwhile, in the Big Apple, New York-based Sal Licata ignorantly claimed New York made Tyrese Halliburton. Huh? The series may be over, but we got beef, and it is spicy. Let's hear Greg Giannetti going off on Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, labeling him a losing player.
The biggest issue that the Knicks have going forward to get to the next level is the fact that they waited and waited and waited to go all in on a couple of guys, and the biggest one being Karl Anthony Towns. And they went and they traded for him, and he's making $50 million a year, and at the core, he's a loser. That is their biggest problem. The guy is a loser. He's a losing player. He complains. He is soft. He shows you flashes where he's the best player on the court. Not enough. He doesn't play enough defense. He bitches and moans. He is, up until this point in his career, a loser who is making $50 million, who is going to be a logjam as far as them trying to get to the next level.
His shot selection on Saturday night was insane.
I mean, he is getting to the point now as one of the most frustrating players I have ever watched in the uniform of a team that I root for, because I know how good he can be. And it's just so damn annoying watching him not realize his full potential. And I don't know if it'll ever happen. I really don't know. But that is their biggest issue, is the fact that they thought this Towns thing was going to work better than it did, and it hasn't.
You just got to the Eastern Conference Finals. There's only one team that wins every year. Now, I get it. That's that Geo guy with Boomer, and they're, the voices of New York. But how does this guy, who is probably this tall, never played, never went in the locker room other than to ask a question, maybe look down a little bit and have a peek or get a picture, how does this guy know what Karl Anthony Towns' full potential is? Like, I rip ass every day on the radio and on here. But I don't call people losers unless they are. This guy got you to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, everybody is mad because you lost. But calling a guy a loser, Carl Banks, the stud linebacker for the old world champion New York Football Giants, chimed in. This is genuinely pathetic. Calling a man you've never met a loser says far more about you than it ever could about him. I've known Cat and his family since he was a kid. There's absolutely nothing about him that resembles a loser. Try being a better human being instead of broadcasting this ignorant shit. Yeah, and this guy, Gio, chimed back, in 2010, Carl Banks, I did a speaking engagement for you, and you owe me $500. That's all he had back. No, it's unbelievable. How do these guys, they never coach. They don't know what his full potential is. Maybe he's reached his full potential. World is nuts. Gilbert Arenas, who is a complete dirtbag as a player. I mean, they did a documentary, I just watched it, on Gilbert Arenas bringing a gun and acting like a complete immature clown as a player in the NBA. Now he's got a podcast. Listen to what he says about what he says about Karl Anthony Towns.
I told you. I mean, it's in plain. It's in watching it. Listen, can you just put Cat up there so we can just be educated
after all
on Cat himself? It's him. It's his physical makeup. Long legs, short torso, big ass feet. There's nothing he can do. He's built like a whole fucking bitch. He's built like a female. Clip that. No, fuck that. Am I saying something wrong? Look, he's built like a girl. No. He has girl hips. He's like a full WNBA player.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm sure if he played in the WNBA, it would be a.
Is that unbelievable? I mean, it's just unbelievable how that gets. People just throw around the stupidest stuff when they don't actually know what to say. You want to say his body doesn't look as tight as it needs to. Okay. But talking about and comparing him to a woman, the dude dropped about 30 in the fourth quarter in one of those games while Gilbert Arenas' dumb ass, gun-addled ass, sits on a couch after blowing a bunch of money, bringing a gun, blowing his career, and he's going to call somebody out for their physical appearance? I guess that's a big deal. I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do know is that's bullshit. But that's the world we live in. It is. You want to say he didn't play well? You want to say his body isn't in shape? You want to say, fine, big feet. What? He looks like a bitch? Jesus Christ. Publicly, and we've all seen this. The Knicks players made veiled comments all season long about poor communication causing their inconsistencies. Remember, this is a team that had no bench. None. Zero. Their star is 6'1", and you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Damn. And you haven't done shit in 30, 40, 50 years. I don't think you've won a title since 72 or whatever. You 3. Red Holzman, Dave DeBuscher, Earl Monroe, Willis Reed. Of course, Walt the Glide Frazier, Dick the Skull Barnett, John Stallworth. I can go on and on. I think Phil Jackson was on that team. Not as the coach. That's how long it's been. Publicly, Knicks players have made veiled comments all season about poor communication causing their inconsistencies. Behind the scenes, they and the coaches expressed frustration with Towns' defensive habits, less concerned with his talent level, more about with his process on that end. Too often, Towns executed incorrect coverages without communicating why he did it. After it became a theme, players worried Towns didn't grasp the importance of the matter. Well, that's what I always say about NBA players. If you're going to become an NBA player, guess what you're going to do? You're going to work on the stuff you're not good at. That's what has me frustrated about Miles Turner. He should be a great post-up player in addition to making a bunch of threes. New York's out of its collective mind, and I'm here for it. I am right here, right now, for it as we are 36 hours, whatever it is, away from the Pacers playing in the NBA Finals and making New York City its bitch. That dump-ass arena, our bitch. Thibodeau, our bitch. New York City broadcasters are bitch. Here's the latest. Sal Licata, Cada, whatever the hell his name is, WFAN, says New York, the series made Tyrese Halliburton, despite the fact that Tyrese Halliburton made the entire grimy-ass city of New York his bitch 2 years in a row. In a row. Here's this idiot on WFAN.
New York put you on the map. You don't run bleep. We put you on the map. Whether it's Wally Zerbiak saying he's overrated, whether it's his performance against the Knicks a year ago, whether it's the Knicks choking one in game one, allowing him to again be the villain with the choke sign. Without New York, nobody gives a crap about you, Tyrese Halliburton. You don't run squat. Here's what you better hope you run. You better hope you don't run into a buzzsaw in the Thunder in the finals. Because beating the Knicks is not the trophy that you should be trying to get here. You've done that now a couple of times. So stop with the I run New York stuff. Stop with your girlfriend on social media. Go New York, go New York, go home. Enough. Without New York, you're nothing. We made you. We run you.
Halliburton has absolutely made that guy his bitch, too. Whoever that guy is bitching, whining, moaning, getting all mad at a guy. Why? Why are you getting mad at a guy? Because he beat your entire city's ass. Not once, but twice. And I would argue, if they beat the Pacers ever, then it would be the biggest wins in the history of New York basketball, the modern history. I know you can go back to the 70s. I mentioned the people. But they haven't done squat in New York. The most lasting image of New York is little Jeff Van Gundy holding on to the leg, like the little fly that he is, holding on to the leg of Alonzo Mourning as a fight broke out. That sums up New York City basketball. It's the most overrated place in America for basketball. The players that come out of there are entitled. They suck. The people that hang around the players out of that town are entitled, and they suck. I remember sitting there with legendary basketball coach Hugh Durham. He was at Georgia, or maybe he was at Jacksonville then. We're watching Stephon Marbury's brother. Oh, we're watching Stephon Marbury at five-star basketball camp. He looked at me. He said, "Hey, Dakich, I coached one of them crazy-ass Marburys at Georgia. I ain't never coaching one of them idiots again." Now, Steph Marbury, you can name him. Rafer Alston. Who is that little guard? Stephon Telfair. They all suck. The entire city sucks. I like Nick. I actually like going to shows. But Halliburton has beat the Knicks 2 years in a row. And Halliburton, remember, did magical things in the Milwaukee series, magical things in the Cleveland series. I would argue New York is insignificant to Halliburton. I mean, went in there, whooped your ass, walked out of there. Halliburton played a role in a lot of Knicks shit. Let's think about it. Got Tom Thibodeau fired. You got a lot of targets now. Danny Hurley, Mike Malone, Johnny Bryant, the Cavs assistant, Jeff Van Gundy, Jay Wright. You got all this angst about Karl Anthony Towns, all because Tyrese Halliburton whooped your sorry ass. And let's be honest, the Knicks are a sorry-ass operation. They haven't won shit. They got LeBron's guy as the general manager. They got an owner that everybody hates. They got an arena that when they actually redid it, they were stupid enough to get rid of the only iconic thing in that arena, Willis Reed's Tunnel. It is a rat-infested dump. And Halliburton kicked everybody right in the ass and let them know. I'm not the biggest Instagram guy. I'm certainly not the biggest girlfriend guy. But you know what? When you win, do whatever you want. New York people threw garbage on a New York fireman because he was wearing a Halliburton jersey. What Halliburton do? Invited the guy to the game. Invited a guy to the game in New York, flew him out to Indianapolis. McAfee had him on his show. It was glorious. That's Halliburton. Little Sal here with his angry, never played, never coached, couldn't even probably play stickball in the street, but he's got a big mouth and connection, so somehow he's on the radio being the voice of New York City. Sal here don't like it, and he's catering to an audience. I deal in facts, and the facts are Halliburton came into your sorry-ass city not once but twice, whipped your little ass, got the belt out, whipped ass, got out, and moved it along. Fuck off, Sal. Anyway, in a shocking move Tuesday, the Knicks, because of Tyrese Halliburton, got rid of Tom Thibodeau. And a lot of it is this. Oh, man, they should have never gotten rid of Thibodeau. Thank you, Tom Thibodeau. You led us to great heights. They should have never done that. I'm pissed. Who's the next coach? Jay Wright? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Jay Wright would do that. Anyway, let's look at Thibodeau. He led the Knicks to the postseason 4 of his 5 years, and it's coming off an Eastern Conference final run where the aforementioned Pacers dusted his ass. Huh. All right, let's look at the candidates. Danny Hurley's old school tough coach. You guys apparently need a pussy because you're front-running bullies and you can't play for a guy or you don't like a guy in your operation that has some satchel. So you can't get Mike Malone. You can't get Danny Hurley. I'm guessing Jay Wright's smart enough to stay the hell out of that cesspool. I'm guessing Jeff Van Gundy, been there, done that. Why would you redo that one? Let's see who else is on this list. Johnny Bryant was an assistant with the Knicks, and he's probably the ass-kissing little weasel that people would want in New York. So you got to kiss the ass of Leon Rose. You got to kiss the ass of the owner. I mean, that seems to be the right guy. He's a finalist for the Phoenix Suns job. Hey, look, that's probably the guy. You're going to go Mike Malone? He's the same guy you just fired. All these other guys, Danny Hurley probably too smart. Although if I were Danny Hurley, I'd take a look. Why not? It's New York City. You grew up right there, Jersey City. Jay Wright, you got a bunch of Villanova guys on the team. It's old home week. I don't know. But I do think this. I do think the ass-kissing little assistant would be the right choice. Or maybe they'll buy out some other coach, that guy down in the Mad Banger, Oduki, Irmi Aduki, or whatever the hell his name is. Maybe he's the guy. I don't know. But what I do know is this. Tyrese Halliburton and the beloved Indiana Pacers turned that dump of a city upside down. Go get them, Sal. Let's talk about the Mets. Let's talk about Juan Soto. Let's talk about the greatness of the Rangers. Oh, wait. Suck it, Sal. Baseball coaches gone wild in college. It's insanity. Wake Forest baseball coach apologizes after camera catches him using an apparent homophobic slur. Monday night, Wake Forest baseball coach Tim Walter was caught using a homophobic slur during the Demon Deacons game against Tennessee, which caused a social media firestorm because that's what we do on social media. God forbid somebody slip up. God forbid somebody say something that we shouldn't say, unless it's, of course, effing white girl. If it's effing white girl, you can say whatever you want. We don't care. Or effing white boy. Say that, but hey, don't offend, particularly in Pride Month. What are you doing, coach? As Tennessee's Andrew Fisher was stepping up to bat, ESPN cameras panned over to the dugout of Wake Forest during the 7-run fourth of the Vols, where it found Tim Walter mouthing what appeared to be a slur that was seemingly not directed towards any player. Let's take a look. I didn't know what he said.
Fisher standing in. Fisher standing in.
Now I do.
Fisher standing in.
Now I do. I actually, when I watched it, I didn't see it, and now I do. Coach, why would you even say that? Like, you got Tourette's? You're just saying, I got to say racist, sexist stuff? Like, what are you doing, Coach? All right. In the aftermath, OutKick reached out to Wake Forest for a statement regarding the matter. Wake Forest finally released comments from John Curry, the AD, and Coach Tom Walter on Monday morning. Very sorry for my outburst and frustration last night. Recognize the hurt and disappointment it caused. I don't think it hurt anybody. It just makes you go, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, where do those words come from? Like, what, they just spew out of your head? I got to tell you, I'm not sure I've ever thought to say those words, but good for you, man. Everybody's different. I've seen the videos, and while I don't remember this specific moment clearly, the language does not reflect my values. Of course it does. And the standards of this program, regardless, I own the consequence. Apologize to University of Tennessee, to Wake Forest University, ACC, and SEC. David, Davey, you got more on this. What's going on here? Add some context here.
Wake Forest.
I can't hear him. There you go.
You got me now,
Go
Dan? When you look at Tennessee, Wake Forest in baseball, they've had a little bit of beef over the last couple of years. And so this was something that was brewing throughout. Tennessee, Wake Forest played on Sunday night. Wake Forest won to force the game 2 on Monday. But it's just a situation. I mean, you look at Tom Walters. I haven't seen anything for him prior to this. This is a guy, I saw a lot of former players come in support of him. I didn't realize this. Back in 2010 or 2011, he actually donated his kidney to one of his players. And so it's one of those moments where people are just talking about heat of the moment and just let the emotions get the best of him. But yeah, in today's age, that's one of those things you're gonna.
So there's been nothing in Walter's past. He's been nothing but a good guy.
Yep, I've not seen anything, and this is a situation where I'm curious your take on this, Dan. The athletic director John Curry made sure that they went ahead and put a statement out pretty much right away, which is actually funny because the only coach that John Curry had hired that was in that game was actually the coach for Tennessee. He was the AD at Tennessee for 9 months before basically he had the worst coaching search ever, which was of a Chernobyl level with the Greg Schiano situation. So it's just there's a couple of ties there as far as the Tennessee and Wake Forest. And it was definitely something watching Monday night. I knew as soon as I saw it, this is taking off.
All right. Leave the kids alone, you dirtbag. Former Tampa Bay Rays rising star Wander Franco's listen to this. Child sexual abuse trial has begun in his home country, where Franco is facing charges of sexual abuse and exploitation after allegedly paying off both the underage girl and her mother in return for silence. Takes a sick individual to partake in what Franco is being accused of. Here's the headline. The shortstop allegedly gave the girl the equivalent of $46,000 in July and August, paid the mother about $17,000, according to documents that were released in January last year by ESPN. According to ESPN, prosecutors say Franco called the minor "my girl" in a WhatsApp message, admitting that the relationship was a risk, but he loved it. Man, "my girl," Franco allegedly wrote in Spanish, "if my team realizes this, it could cause problems for me. It is a rule for all teams that we cannot talk to minors, but I took the risk and I loved it." Yeah? You loving it now? How you loving this trial, son? How you loving being out of baseball, son? This seems like something that the liberals would find a hill to die on. There's nothing about this that is anything other than sick and twisted. Nothing. You knew what you were doing. You did it anyway. You knew what you were doing was wrong, way wrong. You did it anyway. How about the mother? I mean, look, I get it. I do. You're poor. I get it. You want money. I understand that. But damn, you're a parent. Your number one deal is to protect your children. It just is. You're not protecting your kid by allowing this, which you obviously knew was going on. I hope this guy rots in hell. Look, I have daughters, stepdaughters, wives, mothers. In fact, my mother is getting married. I've got all kind of women in my life. And I go back to this, the faces of little girls, the innocence of little girls. And then all of a sudden you decide because you're a baseball player, you're going to do this. God damn. My girl, I took the risk and I loved it. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You loving it now, pal? Guessing you're not. Boston Red Sox legend Kevin Youkilis blasted the insufferable and unhinged AOC after AOC posted a BSX post in solidarity with the victims of the Boulder firebombing attack. AOC and her ragtag group of radical left allies have engaged in rhetoric that have inspired these nut jobs, absolutely inspired these nut jobs to go out and attack innocent civilians. Here you see AOC's tweet. Horrified, really? You're the one that kind of encouraged it. No, you did encourage it. My heart is with the victims in our Jewish communities across the country. Anti-Semitism is on the rise here at home, and we have a moral responsibility to confront and stop it everywhere here it exists. Well, where was this year ago? And Youkilis wasn't having it. Youkilis said this. Youkilis said, Jews are targeted with violence, and it's the same virtual signal post time and time again. What have you done to confront those calling for intifadas in New York City? That means crazy-ass people that are looking to kill Jews. She's done nothing. Zero. Zip. She's full of shit inept. Until you create a plan of action, your repeated virtual signaling after the violence occurs holds no weight. He's right. He's absolutely right. In the midst of last year's chaos at Columbia, AOC called anti-Israel agitators on campus peaceful. The message came as Jewish students were recommended to leave home as students were caught on camera sympathizing with the terrorist group Hamas. You sympathize with Hamas, who obviously raped and murdered on camera almost a year ago, Jews everywhere. You're sympathizing with terrorists. You're encouraging more terrorism. Now it's on our home soil, and AOC is one of those that was too chicken shit, as she usually is, or too stupid, as she absolutely is, to call out those calling for this type of violence. Yeah, nobody's sitting there saying kill Jews. Well, some people are. But when you say, well, these are peaceful people that are supporting a terrorist operation that murdered, raped, beheaded, you name it, Jews, when you support that, you're supporting it here in our country, and you suck. I'm glad. I am really glad that Kevin Youkilis decided to stand up. I am really, really, really glad. I hope more do. I hope more people call her out on her bullshit. Now, she's Teflon. She's one of those that's Teflon. She's full of shit. She's protected by the media. I mean, what the hell? She's got 3 names and is a woman. She's full of shit. And it's causing people to die. Now, you got to stop this. You got to stand up. Period. Every single effing person in any type of powerful position needs to stand up and stop this anti-Semitism bullshit. Dave Portnoy was doing one of his pizza reviews, and somebody yelled out, "Tell me why." It's bullshit. It's just copycat bullshit. I mean, you wanted to cancel people back in the day for something they did in the 70s. You wanted to cancel people. Hell, you wanted to cancel me for saying I would not go swimming in a pool with some old hag that wasn't my wife. But we don't want to cancel these people for F the Jews, for supporting terrorism in our own country. Fuck all of you. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. I got Seth Greenberg coming up. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get to, including my 5 favorite golf courses. But this shit pisses me off. You sit there and you say, oh, my heart's broken. Your heart ain't broken. Anybody that stands up for terrorists is a dumbass and should be silenced. You stand against those type of things. Period. Period. And you do it loudly, you do it forcefully, and you do it unrelentingly. Be right back with my Jewish friend, Seth Greenberg.